What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today, we're continuing our Player Spotlight series where we look at individual Aggies, talk about their 2025 outlook, and talk about how they got where they are now. And today, we're going to talk about a player who didn't even start last year, but plays a vitally important role in 2025, and that is edge rusher Cashius Howell. We just got done with the Ruben Owens show. Go check that one out if you want to learn more about the running back room and what the returning young uber talented player in Ruben Owens might look like in 2025. We'll do Cashius Howell today. We got Casey Concepcion, Scooby Williams, Le'Veon Moss, Marcel Reed lined up next. Thank you guys for being here. Like and subscribe. Well, Cashius Howell might not be a household name in the SEC just yet, but around the program and around some NFL draft circles, he's someone whose stock is actually climbing pretty fast through this offseason cycle. Cashius, as you know, transferred in from Bowling Green before the 2024 season and spent most of the year behind Nick Scorton and Shamar Stewart, both of which were obviously NFL picks. But even as a rotational player, we saw what Cashius Howell could bring to a team. He stood out as one of the most consistent players on A&M's defense last year, and that was in that third down package role, in that spell role, where he was a constant effort edge rusher with a lot of twitch, a lot of ability. And when he got the opportunity to start in the bowl game with Scorton and Stewart sitting out in draft prep, he showed out. There are clips online of his bowl game highlight. You can go check them out if you look on Twitter. I just reposted one. And if you didn't zoom in on Cashius Howell in the bowl game, you really missed out on kind of a masterpiece. He was all over the place. He didn't get a bunch of sacks, but he was constantly near the quarterback, in the quarterback's vision, affecting plays, chasing plays down, as he kind of did throughout the entire season whenever he got opportunity. But in 2025, obviously, he's stepping into a starting role from day one and a leadership role from day one. So with Scorton, Stewart, and Turner all gone, the defensive line, as we all know, is in major transition this year. It's one of the biggest question marks going into next year, and I think most of those questions circle around the depth of that D-line, more so in the interior than on the outside. But Howell, as a leader, as a stabilizer for the unit, he kind of has to hit. And while we think it will, we've got to see it happen on a consistent basis as a starter. Last year, he played at 245 pounds, and in spring ball, he's up to 255, and I think that's kind of important because when you look at A&M's defensive end group this year, it's a lot lighter. It's a lot more athleticism-based than power-based, as it was last year when you had a couple of 280-pounders starting on the outside. So you might see a couple of sub-270 players out there, and it's a good thing that Cashius Howell put on 10 pounds. So Howell will kind of represent that new look defensive end that we'll see at A&M, that lighter look, that quicker look. Let's talk about Cashius Howell and his individual skill sets. It's that first step quickness. He's off the ball quickly. He's able to turn the corner on defensive tackles quickly. He has edge bending ability like no one's business. That's what he is. That's what he does. He is not the best at the point of attack, although he has great length. If he can keep tackles off of him, he's in good shape. But if guys get inside of him, that's where he'll struggle. He has an improving inside spin move that we saw in the spin game, in the bowl game, and that's going to complement his game nicely if he's able to cultivate and grow that this offseason in this fall camp through spring, because obviously these tackles are going to want to get a big jump on him, a big step on him because of his quickness, and if he has that counter move, that'd be great for him, and it's developing, and if that comes to be this year, that's going to be absolutely huge for him. But above all of his kind of visual attributes, things you see, it's his overall effort and motor that really stands out for Cashius Howell. He plays with a motor that never quits. He's the kind of guy that can miss a rep at the line of scrimmage, maybe not beat his guy at the point of attack right away, but he can reset his angle, pressure the quarterback, put him on the clock before the ball's out. And if you look at the first interception against LSU, BJ Mays, hero moment, 2 picks that game. The first one, Cashius Howell was chasing down Nussmeier on that play. Now, he didn't contact him. It wasn't a sack. I don't even know if it got counted as a hurry, but you better damn believe if you see a Cashius Howell sprinting at you in open field, that's going to change the way your pass comes out, especially for college-level quarterbacks. We also saw Howell flash some versatility as a defensive end. I know this frustrates a lot of people, especially going through the DJ Durkin defense with a 3-man front, a lot of defensive ends in drop coverage. Cashius Howell actually did well in that regard in the bowl game, and in particular, I'll cite that LSU game again, where he dropped into coverage in a one-on-one against Mason Taylor, one of the better tight ends in the conference, one of the better receiving tight ends in the conference. He was on a wheel route on a surefire touchdown pass into the corner in the left side of the end zone. Cashius Howell went stride for stride with Mason Taylor, didn't interact with the ball, but contacted Taylor at the point of the catch and forced the incompletion, no touchdown. It's that kind of play that Cashius Howell can bring you. It's that down-to-down effort that a player like him can really help a defense out with. And he's not the only one on this defensive line coming into next year that brings that. We'll talk about Albert Regis later, but that's one of Albert Regis' great attributes as well. Obviously a totally different build and skill set, but he's another player with that effort and motor that kind of rises above all of the individual attributes. And maybe that's a persona this defensive line can take on this year, more of that hustle, effort, never say die attitude that I think this defense could do really well with. But let's talk more about Cashius. Let's get into some numbers. Last year, comparing Cashius to his counterparts in Scorton and Stewart, Howell had 221 pass rush attempts in 2024. He produced 4 sacks, 24 hurries, and 40 total tackles, 26 solo. Nick Scorton, more attempts, 316 pass rush attempts, 5 sacks, 27 hurries, 37 total tackles, 27 solo. Shamar Stewart, 315 pass rush attempts, 1.5 sacks, 15 hurries, 31 tackles, and 14 solo. So if you look at the amount of snaps that Scorton and Stewart had, 316 and 315 respectively, Howell at 221 snaps, Howell's numbers are as good or better than our 2 NFL draft picks last year in almost 100 fewer snaps. And if you look at the PFF grade, and I know not everybody puts great stock into that, but at least it's some context for now, Howell ended with a 91.4 pass rush grade, Scorton 80.6, Stewart 67.2. Cashius Howell is an A grade at the pass rush, and amongst returning players who graded out last year, he's second in returning PFF grade, only behind the freak athlete Dylan Stewart at South Carolina. It's an elite grade, and it's really elite numbers off the bench, and you're going to see, hopefully, an opportunity to showcase that even more. Because if you extrapolate Howell's numbers last year out to what Stewart and Scorton were doing, around that 315 number, he likely would have ended up with nearly 6 sacks and 34 hurries, both of which would have led the team. So from both the eye test perspective, the analytics, he stacks up as A&M's most efficient pass rusher last year. And now he gets the full season to prove it. So let's just kind of talk about him next year, the importance of him, expectations. He's already on multiple way too early mock drafts. He's even a first rounder by an ESPN writer, a Bleacher Report writer. He's a first rounder on a bunch of just smaller media providers. Now, it's not unanimous that he's a first rounder, but he's at worst a top 100 pick amongst NFL, amateur media scouts. And look, A&M needs that to hit. A&M really needs him to hit that kind of first, second round upside for A&M's defense to really go. Now, there are other intriguing names on the edge, like a TJ Searcy, a Dayon Hayes, a Solomon Williams, or a Marco Jones could break out. There's a lot of guys out there, but Howell is the one guy we've actually seen consistently succeed against SEC opposition. He's the leader of the new look edge group that loses great talent to the NFL. And if he plays the way he did in limited reps last year, he has a shot to be one of the best SEC pass rushers in 2025. But that's it for today's Spotlight. That was Cashius Howell. Let me know what you expect from Cashius this year. Do you think he has all SEC potential? I think with opportunity and continued development under Elko and company, and Elko taking the reins of this defense, maybe cleaning up some pass rush stuff, maybe improve secondary play. I don't know if sky's the limit, but he could be a pretty damn good edge rusher for Texas A&M and maybe a defense-defining kind of player for the Aggies in 2025. So who do you guys want to see in the player spotlight next? The options right now are Casey Concepcion, Scooby Williams, Le'Veon Moss, Marcel Reed. Any of those 4 sound good to you guys? If not, throw another name out there. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Gig 'em.